Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to yet another Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking all about the brand new seasonal pulse rifle, the Peace of Mind. This thing can roll with some absolutely nutty perks, and of course it is also craftable, which means you can unlock 5 of these bad boy patterns, and then you can load up Shirochi like I did and just spend 5 brain numbing hours here until you get it fully leveled up. Now of course you don't have to do that. You can, take the much more slow route and use this weapon in psyops or crucible or anything like that to get a feel for it, but I just said screw it. I wanted to level this thing up right away and get the god roll, so that's what I did. Now before we jump into my suggestions and god rolls and all of the awesome clips that I managed to get with this gun, let's talk about where you can find these patterns so that you can unlock the craftable version, and then shortly after that, how to maximize your time at Shirochi so that you're not just sitting there wasting brain cells like I did. So first off, your best bet is going to be to stick with psyops. Do as many of these as possible, and eventually they'll just start dropping pretty often. That's where I got most of mine. You can really get 5 of these if you spent the entire day in psyops, although I wouldn't recommend that, as that probably is going to wear you out and get quite boring. If you have not completed the seasonal storyline, I recommend doing that as well, because I believe at the end you're either guaranteed this specific weapon as a pattern or any of the seasonal weapons as a pattern, so just keep that in mind as well. Now once you do get 5 of these bad boys unlocked, you can craft it, and when you do craft it, I highly recommend at first to put on overflow. That's going to make your job at Shirochi a lot easier. Now what does overflow do, you might ask? Well, it's obvious. Whenever you pick up a special ammo brick or a heavy ammo brick, it'll reload the magazine beyond its regular capabilities, or capacity I should say. Alright, so you got all 5 patterns, you crafted this bad boy, took it into Shirochi, lost quite a few brain cells, and the weapon is now at level 16. For those that don't know, level 16 is when you actually unlock all the perks for this gun. So at 16, you should stop, craft the perfect gun, and then you can go enjoy it in Crucible. So right off the bat, let's talk about the enhanced intrinsic. You're going to want to go for range, because range, as I'm going to mention many times in a couple of seconds, is king on this weapon. Regardless of whether or not you're on controller or on mouse and keyboard, I found that range is just a necessity. You need to go for it. I probably played about 50 games in total with the Peace of Mind. I'm not kidding, 50 games. And about half of those were on controller, and I absolutely love the way that this thing felt. So where did we leave off? Range on the enhanced intrinsic perk. Then for the barrel, you want to go for extended barrel. That's going to give you plenty of range, which is what this thing is definitely lacking. Now in the clip that you're watching right now, I actually started off with ricochet rounds, and I used ricochet rounds for about 15 games, and I did not like the fact that a lot of the time my opponents were winning the gunfights on me, and I didn't understand why. And a lot of people in chat told me that high caliber rounds is the go-to on this gun, because it really packs a punch and causes your enemy to flinch more, thus missing their shots. And so I put on high cal, and I have to tell you guys right now, it was a night and day difference. As soon as I booted up my very first game and shot somebody, the way they were shooting back at me and missing shots, I automatically knew that high cal was putting in work, and I never looked back. Alright, now let's talk a little bit about the perks, and this is where everyone's going to be a little bit different, but for me, there's really only 2 choices in perk slot 1 and perk slot 2. In perk slot 1, you got perpetual motion or heating up, and in perk slot number 2, you got yourself either adrenaline junkie or moving target. Now, I only see it 2 ways. You can either build this gun to be a trials 3v3 gun, or you can build this out to be a monster when it comes to 6v6 and just slaying really hard. And that's important to make that distinction. Are you going to use this gun in endgame activities like trials, where those 1v1s are extremely important? Or are you going to use this more as a fun slaying weapon in 6v6, where you want to get more damage and accuracy as you're getting kills? If you answered with trials and endgame, then what you're probably going to want to go for is perpetual motion and moving target. And the reason why those 2 perks work so well together is because all you have to be doing to proc both of them is simply moving. That's it. you already have multiple buffs on your gun without even taking a single shot. And so if you're in a 1v1 situation, if you need to win just that one gunfight, that is the role for you, and that is why I think it is perfect for Trials of Osiris or endgame content. But that's not actually the route that I went for with my builds. I wanted this to be a very slay heavy gun. I want to have fun with this thing in 6v6 control and clash. And so that is why I actually went with Heating Up and Adrenaline Junkie. Two perks that have beautiful synergy with each other, because as soon as I get a single kill, both these perks proc. You have 5.5 seconds of a 15% accuracy cone growth, 15 additional stability, and 20 additional recoil direction. Now the stability and recoil direction is a nice little, bonus, but that's not what matters here. It's the 15% accuracy cone growth. That means your shots are going to feel a lot more buttery smooth, and you're going to be hitting targets even though you might just slightly be missing them, which is very, very helpful. And at the same time, you're also proccing Adrenaline Junkie after a kill, which gives you 4.5 seconds of a 6.6% bonus DPS value. And I know 6.6 might not sound like a lot, but that very quickly adds up if you get another kill and goes up to 13.2%. If you get 3 kills, it goes up to 20, 4 kills, 26.6, and at 5 times Adrenaline Junkie, you're at 33.3%, which is obviously just bonkers. And you can proc that with just a grenade kill. One single grenade kill would give you an automatic ×5 stack of Adrenaline Junkie, and this thing will turn into an absolute shredding machine straight out of The Office. So the downside to this build is that you may not have any perks working in your favor until you actually get a single kill with this weapon, but I think that's totally fine in pubs and 6v6, because not only are you going to be constantly respawning and your life, isn't super important every single time you spawn up. It's more for that fun factor. But additionally, this gun is just really good from a base value perspective. You don't necessarily need any perks on this thing for it to shine. And so that's why I think that Heating Up and Adrenaline Junkie is perfect if you are going to be pub stomping with this gun and just generally having fun trying to go for clips and all that kind of stuff. It kind of gives you that same feeling that the Messenger does with Desperado. Once you activate it and you have that buff, you just know that you're unstoppable for the whole duration of that perk being active. And that's how Adrenaline Junkie and Heating Up feel, especially after 2 kills. Now, what really makes this weapon shine is the subclass that you pair it with. Now, thankfully, for all my different characters out there, there is room for diversity. You can use a variety of things and do very well. For example, if you play in a hunter, simply put on the dodge that allows you to instantly reload once your dodge is done. You can put on Worm Husk, that'll give you bonus health. You also dodge and reload your gun instantly, have those 2 buffs up, and you can go on to the next person right away. So that's one way of playing with this gun. Now, if you're on a Titan, you can even go for One-Eyed Mask. That thing is going to do so well with this gun, and you can just torment PvP lobbies, especially 6v6 like I mentioned earlier. And then finally on the Warlock, you can even run Devour. Now, yes, Devour is a lot harder to proc now that you can't just eat your nade. If you could eat your nade and also use this gun at the same time, oh my goodness, that would be my favorite loadout in all of Destiny 2. But sadly, you have to get a grenade kill for you to actually get Devour. But that's actually a good thing, because if you are supercharging your nade and focusing on getting kills with your nade so that you can proc Devour, you're actually doing 2 for 1. You're not only getting Devour to proc, but you're also automatically getting a 5 times stack of Adrenaline Junkie, which gives you a 33% damage buff with this weapon. I started off on the Warlock doing exactly that, trying to proc Devour, and I did get it to proc maybe once or twice per game, but I felt like it was a little bit too inconsistent and not happening enough for me, so I just went back to my roots, played on Top Tree Dawn for exceptional movement, and really made some things happen, even though that, it didn't really complement this gun that much. I won't sit here and lie to you guys and say that this is now the best gun in the game and that it's meta. It definitely is not the best gun in the game. I think number 1 is probably the Palindrome Adept. That's still the best gun in the game. and nothing can really compete with it. But this thing is exceptional. I think it's worth your time going after, and I think it's worth your time crafting a god roll and trying out, because it's exceptionally fun. It can compete with almost anything in the game. And when's the last time you used a 540 RPM? Probably a long time ago, like myself. But yeah, guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed this god roll guide. Hope you enjoyed some of the background footage. And like I said, I really recommend this thing. I think it's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to try out some of the other craftable weapons, because I've heard there's a couple others that are definitely worth checking out. So I'll have those videos up in the next couple of days and next couple of weeks, guys. I really want to go after a lot of these craftable guns and make god roll guides for you guys, so that you're not really wasting your time or your materials, both of which are just as important. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed, definitely smash that like button, subscribe for more daily Destiny 2 content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.